So tell me about enduro or adventure biking. What's the better term for it? Enduro biking, enduro motorcycling, adventure
I'm
bikes?
do Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of both. So the adventure riding is on a bigger bike, and we ride on the road to where we're going. Then we also mix in dirt and some light enduro. Whereas, enduro riding's more just take the dirt bike out on the back of the truck, bring it to some trails, and go ride some hard stuff. So I've been doing a lot of both.
Oh, okay. Do you have a preference in them?
Um, I'm slowly doing less adventure riding and more enduro riding just because ultimately with the group that I ride with, we on the adventure bikes we end up trying to ride the enduro trails anyway. Um,
Mm,
and when you do that on a big adventure bike, especially here in Texas, uh, it gets hot quick. If you drop your
mm.
bike, you're picking up a 400-pound bike, so you instantly get overheated, especially in the summertime. So on a little bike, picking that up, it's around 200 pounds. Not quite as bad. You can drop it 10, 12 times and you're still doing okay.
Yeah.
Versus an adventure bike, you drop it twice and you're kind of toast.
Yeah, dude, I mean double. Yeah, that's a lot for sure. So what would be like the basic overall definition for someone who knows nothing about either? How would you define it or describe it to somebody?
Sure. So yeah, uh, adventure riding is more for those that want to like really pack up and go on an adventure. Really, um, the motorcycles are bigger dual sports capable of doing highway riding. You can pack up your tent, your gear, and go on a couple day ride. So you ride out to a trail system, ride on the trail system, camp, keep going, um, or you can do day rides that are similar to that, um, which is tons of fun. Versus, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
No, no, I was just gonna say, so that would be like on roads as well. So, right? Like, I mean, that's the thing is like you go on trails, you go on roads, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, yeah. Basically,
Cool.
from my door, go out on the highway on the twisty 2-lane roads out in Central Texas, find some dirt, play on that for a while, and kind of loop
Cool.
back. So
Seems
Um,
awesome.
yeah, those kind of runs can be pretty fun. Sometimes stay in a hotel, sometimes stay in a tent, and find interesting places to visit and eat good food along the way.
Yeah,
So
sounds amazing.
yeah,
Honestly, it does.
so the adventure riding can be a lot of fun, um, but playing in the dirt is also really fun for me.
Yeah.
Um, you know, the group I ride with, we like the woodsy trail uh, type off road, not like motocross track. Just like what you think of as like a mountain biking or hiking
So it's,
trail. We go and ride
yeah.
on stuff like that.
Okay, so it's almost like single track, like it would be like single track riding, or
It
like
is,
so
yeah,
they're narrow. Then it's not like a wide. Okay.
exactly, yeah. So we try to find single track. There's a few places here, pay to play, uh, places that have both wider roads for like ATVs and the bigger side by sides, but they also have single track, which is uh, what we prefer to play around on. So.
Yeah. So I mean, the thing is, in Texas, most of the land is private. So how most of these places are like places you have to pay to get into, or is there open land that you can also go on that you know of?
Um, a lot of the places are pay to play or membership places. There's one that's about an hour north of here, Tour Central Texas off road or something like that. That's motorcycles only, and so
Hmm.
it's just a bunch of single track, and it's like a yearly membership. But then there's a few places around that are not exact. They're not private property, but they're not exactly public land either. They're just
Hmm.
lands that were starting to be developed into a neighborhood, for example, and then now there's roads which are technically public roads, but they're just not
Hmm.
kept up and dirt and kind of falling into disrepair, but they're fun to ride on a motorcycle. So
Oh.
eventually, if they resume development, those will go away. But there's some areas that have that kind of stuff, and then within those areas, a lot of the couple that I know about also have some sections of single track that people have built into the land, which is
Hmm.
that's kind of skirting private property, but it's
Yeah.
corporation. It's not like some guy's private property that you're driving on
Right.
and get shot or prosecuted. It's some corporation that bought it to build out into a neighborhood and then stopped. So, um,
Okay. So
you know,
developments. Yeah. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in
That makes
theory,
sense.
it could be stuff that goes away or you get kicked out of in the future. But for right now, there's a couple of places like that we can still ride on now and again.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. So where was the first time that you encountered this area, and like what drew your attention to it? Like how did that come about?
In terms of riding, period, or
Yeah, just yeah, totally. Like was there something some sort of something that connected you initially to one of these groups, or like what?
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it started. If I look back into my childhood, I rode motorcycles. Uh, my dad had bought one that we had for a very brief time. It was probably around somewhere around the age of 8 to 12. We had a dirt bike, um,
Okay.
and then I've not had anything since then. So I've kind of always loved it and enjoyed it. And then more recently, I guess it's been about 3 or 4. It was like either 2019 or 2020. So I guess it's been almost 4 years. Our mutual friend Dave was bought a motorcycle, an ADV bike, and started riding a lot. And I saw his posts on Instagram and elsewhere, and uh, just kind of had the FOMO, wanting to get out and join. So,
Yeah.
you know, I kind of
Yeah.
worked my way up to saving some money and getting a bike, and just started riding with him. And that's how I got connected to the group. And we just slowly started riding harder and harder stuff. And now we've
Yeah.
all bought a second small bike to go with our big ADV bikes, and you know, pretty much ride
That's
every weekend.
okay. That's what I was gonna ask. Like, how frequently are you doing it? Every weekend almost. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, every weekend, and there's like guys that ride multiple times a week, who have various work schedules, so they'll ride like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. So
Wow.
you pretty much, if you have a day off, you can find someone to ride with. It's been pretty cool.
That is cool. Yeah, that's way cool. I mean, what is like the main thing that you would say you enjoy about the process of, being out riding? Like, what's some of the stuff that stands out?
I would say in general, what drew me to riding motorcycle and like the love of it is it's a fantastic way to disconnect. Like if you're on a big ADV bike out on twisty Texas roads, you can't, like, you physically can't be thinking about or being worried about other things going on in your life because you're worried about what's right in front of you. So it focuses all your effort and brain power on one thing and makes everything shut out. So it just, I
Hmm.
don't I feel like it's kind of a reset, gives you a relief from any stresses that you have going on in life, because you literally can't think about them while you're trying to ride, because either
So true.
you're worried about other cars hitting you, or if you're doing the enduro stuff, there's so many turns, bumps, trees that you have to watch out
Yeah,
for.
like complexity of trail, right?
Yeah,
Like it's not just like riding down a road, it's hard. That is such an
exactly.
interesting thought. I mean, I've done very little motorcycle riding, but the little I have and dirt biking or whatever, I've never thought about it in those terms that you just described, and I feel like that is a really like dialed way to describe that. You are so present, right? You're just like hyper present because you have to be,
Yep.
and therefore you dismiss all those other thoughts. That's such a good point. I love that.
Yeah.
What is so going forward? Like, what are you there? Anything's coming up in that space that you're excited about? Any events or specific trips or anything you're looking forward to?
Our group actually does a couple of yearly trips to different places that are pretty cool. One of the ones that a couple of the guys have done several times is a trip down to Mexico on the adventure bikes. So they trailer them to the Texas Mexico border and then ride motorcycles across and do a bunch of dirt trails and stuff up in the mountains in Mexico. And
Oh, nice.
those trips look amazing. And I haven't been able to join one yet, but that's kind of on my bucket list.
Yeah. How long? How long? I mean, how long do those last when you get
They're usually
like?
doing 5 days or so.
What like how far are you going to go on a trip like that? Like how many miles are you tracking typically on the bikes?
I guess it depends on the complexity of the roads because some of them are switchbacks going up a steep mountain pass, and those they're not going nearly as fast. But in
True.
general, when we're on like a traveling trip, like we've done some here in Texas Hill Country, I've done some in Arkansas with the group, and we usually try to ride somewhere around 200 miles a day.
Oh, okay. I mean, that seems like a fair amount. I don't know how that compares to anything, but that seems like a fair amount to be riding in a day. So,
Yeah, it's a
dude.
lot. If you end up doing dirt, it can be less because I guess, for example, the difference between that and like an enduro day, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
on an enduro bike, maybe you'll do 30 miles, maybe 40 total. So if you're doing ADV with some enduro style in between,
It's
it's gonna cut your mileage down.
totally. Yeah, just like much more technical writing, right? Like so, it's taking much more time and effort, whereas you're just cruising on the road. Yeah,
Yeah.
makes total sense. No, that makes total sense. All right, and this is a weird one because you are, co-founding this with me. But what is your experience with Naked Belt? Or your Naked Belt?
Yeah, man. I mean, as far as the naked belt goes, I've been part of the reason why I wanted to jump in is because I just love the idea behind it, and then actually when I got to use it, I've just been blown away by the comfort of it. I am, being a bigger guy, haven't been a fan of belts my entire life. I've wore them when I had to for like, wearing formal attire for work or things like that. But other than that, I will not wear one. But now with the naked belt, I can wear it, and I wear it with like the comfort waist pants, and I can't even tell that it's there most of the time. Went on a trip recently for work, and uh, it was just an awesome experience trying to travel and go through security, never have to worry about taking off or putting on a belt. And just at the end of the day, when you go to take your pants off, you go, "Oh yeah, I'm wearing a belt," and you don't even realize it.
Yeah,
So I just love that aspect of it.
yeah, right on. That's great, man. Oh, cool. Hey, well, thanks, Brian. That was cool. Learned a lot about Enduro and adventure biking that I did not know. So I appreciate you taking the time.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Thanks.